Morning, everyone. Just wanted to play something, make you guys cheer up a little bit before we start the service. So here we go. When the night is calm and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So, darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. If the sea never look upon should stumble and fall, or the mountain should crumble in the sea. Oh, I won't cry. Oh, I won't shed a tear. Just as long as you stand by me. So, darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. So, darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me.
Thank you, Yaron. Good morning, everyone. What a joy and a pleasure it is to be back with you this Sunday morning, April 5th in the year 2020. For many of you that are members of the Centers for Spiritual Living Los Angeles community, you recognize the backdrop that I have over me this morning. It's the one that so often we used as we would light our candle in the backdrop there on the Bema, where we would meet in our home at 1200 North La Brea Avenue every Sunday morning. And yet we're not there again this Sunday morning, but we have created a new home, both in our homes and through the virtual connection of technology. And so personally, I'm very appreciative to be able to see many of your faces right now online and to know that you get to see each other and to be able to come together during this time and remember who we are as spiritual beings. And so our service this morning is one that will be both a mixture of technology as well as all technology, obviously by means of the service, but meaning being able to hear my voice while I show you slides at times. We'll cut to a slideshow so that we can see the lyrics for the songs that we're going to sing and do our morning ritual and go from there. So I invite you to not let that bother you. My call from the pharmacy to tell me that my meds are ready. I'm not on them at the moment. I'm just kidding. But it's a real joy and pleasure for us to be here together today to move through this experience, the Sunday celebration service. And so if you're joining us on Facebook, I want to say a big hello to you. If you're joining us live through Zoom, I want to say hello. And if you're watching this at a later date, hello. And I know for you that peace exists, that power exists, and that we all have the capacity and the tenacity and the ability to move through these times transcendent of the experience and moving through it by means of the spirit that exists within each and every one of us. And so I want us to take a moment and say thank you to Yaron Spiwak, who is one of our co-music directors who just led us in song. He will also be singing with us for us a little bit later and with us as well later this morning. And our guest artist this morning is James Harper, and we're so happy to have him back. So a big hello to James Harper as well. So I'm going to share the screen right now. Hello, James. I'm going to put something on the screen right now for all of us to look at as we move into our service together. We are the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, and I'm so happy to have each of you there. And so I'd like to also have you know that just like we used to do in our literal room, not our virtual room, to take a moment and say some highs and some hellos and some high fives to people in our community. And I found this little animated GIF that I think is quite cute and fun, some alternatives to handshakes, hugs, high fives. And it's the wave and the hand on the heart, or namaste, or NZSL, how are you, and the various other ones. So take a moment and do that with each other online. Just let's bringing into each other this energy of connection that we share as community. While at the same time, if you can do what I had not done and turn off your technology so that we can minimize our interruptions. And from there, let's just also acknowledge everyone that has joined us via the community of Zoom and or Facebook or later. So I want to welcome you to our gathering this morning. And if you're new to the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, I want you to know that we're a community that has been around for a little over 30 years now here in the center in Los Angeles. Used to be known as the Los Angeles Church of Religious Science. And what we teach here is primarily the teachings of religious science. The teachings by Dr. Ernest Holmes is compiled in a book called The Science of Mind. And that particular book itself is a compilation of all the teachings that Dr. Ernest Holmes believed were important as religions around the world, and compiled those in a way to present a very modern New Thought approach at the turn of the 20th century. And it gives people the opportunity to find out that there's only one power that exists in the universe. We both individualize that power as well as are one with that power, and we use it through our thoughts and our beliefs and our actions and our reactions and interactions in life itself. And so what we practice is that philosophy, that faith, that way of life of knowing that there is only one thing ever taking place, that we are imbued with its qualities, which are peace, power, beauty, joy, life, light, love, and wisdom. And by choosing to use our minds to align with those qualities, those resonance fields of life itself, because we live in a universe that's governed by spiritual law, then those laws bring into our field of experience more of that which we focus on. And so I'll share more about that this morning in my message with you. And the vision for our beloved little community here is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. And so what that means is that we're here to support each and every one of you as you find out who you are as a spiritual being, and in so doing, become more and more personally self-empowered. I don't know about you, but that statement alone has carried me through these days. And I know that it's not only carrying many of you through these days that we're facing day by day by day. But I'm really happy and appreciative and proud of our community of supporting each other as they're on this journey of finding their own personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. And so as our beloved founder, Dr. David Walker, used to say, we welcome one and we welcome all. So we're going to move to the next part of our ritual now. And we open each Sunday morning with a ritual by lighting a candle and singing along to a song. Over the last couple of weeks, we've used a prayer that was for the World AIDS Day prayer. And today I'd like to use a different prayer. It's one I think that we each can hear in a new way over and over and over. And the song that we're going to sing is Let There Be Peace on Earth. It's a song that was sung in the churches known as Centers for Spiritual Living or Churches of Religious Science around the world since the mid part of the 1900s. In our philosophy and faith and way of life, we believe and know that every time a word is spoken, because it has a vibrational frequency to it, it's imprinted into the subconscious mind. Not just the individual mind, but the one mind of all of life itself. And so when we sing the song together, Let There Be Peace on Earth, and the lyrics will be on the screen, let's remember that we're drawing from that reservoir of healing energy that has existed and does exist from each and every time this song has been sung thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of times. And so I invite you to just take a moment and center yourself and hear these words in a new way right now. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you find peace and be truly happy. Yaron's going to guide us into this song, and know that the lyrics are on the screen for you to look at.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow, to take each moment and live each moment with peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Thank you, Yaron. So beautiful. And so as I light the candle this morning, whether we're lighting one at home or simply just acknowledging the candle that I've lit, let's know together that this candle and the flame of the candle is a reminder that deep within each and every one of us is the light of life. That today is the day that we move from darkness into light. That today is the day that we know in a greater way than ever before who we are as spiritual beings. That today is the day that we plant a seed into the creative soil of the universe, of healing, of revelation, of newness, and of release. Today is the day that we align ourselves with the frequencies of the divine. And in this place, we know and engage in and act and interact and react as peace, power, beauty, joy, light, life, love, and wisdom. And in so doing, we are the glory of the magnificence of the divine, fully expressed, completely centered in cause and not living from circumstances or effect. Today is the day. And so we let this time together be a time of virtual community, feeling the energy of being together today, and in deep gratitude for the technology that allows this to transpire, for its evidence of the one mind that is always evolving into a higher expression of itself. And so we choose to be that higher expression right now. And we say together, and so it is. And so it's my honor and pleasure today to share our guest musician, or introduce you to him. I'm not sharing him, we all know him. But he's such a gift to the universe and such a gift to the world. And today he's going to share that gift with a song, as I say every Sunday, one that's of great importance to me. And I'm really appreciative that James Harper took this song and framed it as his own and is presenting it to us today as a jumping off point for the next stage in our evolution as spiritual beings. Ladies and gentlemen, James Harper.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to attempt to do this song justice right now. Oh, one day, when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure. We will be sure. Oh, glory, glory. Oh, glory, oh, glory, hey. Hands to the heaven, no man, no weapon formed against his glory is destined. Every day women and men become legends. Sin that go against our skin become blessings. The movement is a rhythm to us. Freedom is like religion to us. Justice is juxtaposition in us. Justice for all, just ain't specific enough. That one son died, his spirit revisiting us. True and living in us. Resistance is us. That's why Rosa sat on the bus. That's why we walk through Ferguson with our hands up. When it go down, we woman and man up. They say stay down and we stand up. Shots we hit the ground, the camera panned up. King pointed to the mountaintop and we ran up one day. When the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure. We will be sure. Glory, glory, oh, glory, glory. Now the war isn't over, victory isn't won. It will fight to the finish, and then when it's all done, we'll cry glory, oh, glory, oh. We'll cry glory, oh, glory, yeah, glory. Oh, one day, when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure. We will be sure. Oh, glory.
James Harper, you did that song, Justice and More. And so we're all clapping for you, even though you can't hear everyone. I'm sure you can see them on their screen, giving you a huge round of applause. And so thank you. You did John Legend and Common Proud. Glory. One day we will all have the glory. Today I have been thinking about glory as I have throughout the week in the context of today's the day for that glory for each of us. That today is the day that no matter what we've been through, whether it's been 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month of quarantine, that now's the time for us to take a new perspective on how we're going to get through this, which seems to be classified as the unknown. I know that we all can be caught up in looking at statistics while being stuck in our home. There's a moment of feeling rebellious at times, and there are times of frustration, potentially, and anger and fear, as well as there may be moments of feeling comfortable, of being in the rhythm of being at home and just simply thinking that this now is the new norm, in which it may be. And yet, as practitioners of the teachings of metaphysics, we know that the very essence and foundation of our philosophy and our faith and our way of life is that because we are all connected in mind, because we all have individualized mind, that we can call forth into the field of experience, that which we experience and form in life, a shift, as I talked about last week, a shift that's a reflection of what we are doing in mind. And so in reflecting personally over this last week of, so how do I get through this time? How do I get through this time of feeling like the walls are closing in my home, feeling like I don't have the tools necessarily to keep my house clean? How do I get through the time of the rhythm that is taking place in life right now? How do I get through learning new techniques and tools and services as a minister for our congregation and community, and take care of myself at the same time? And I began to reflect on that there have been times in my life where I've lived in the unknown before. The truth is we all live in the unknown at all times, but I began to reflect on specific experiences in my life of where I got to trudge, if you will, or choose to move one step, one day, one moment at a time, by living in that moment while holding a higher idea of what the outcome will be. And I looked back on my personal experience of the first time I did a California AIDS ride, a bike ride from San Francisco to Los Angeles, is 540 plus miles over a 7-day window. I never fancied myself an athlete, but I did it. And what I learned during that time was it was all about one pedal stroke at a time. I had the same experience when my buddy David and I went off to the ashram. Really, it was not a healing place other than a fat farm in Malibu. And as I had food taken away from me and being put in these really prison-like looking garb, sweatpants, that every step that I moved up that mountaintop and saw a cheeseburger or French fries or milkshakes in front of my face, as opposed to the 3 pieces of lettuce and a piece of celery and a sesame seed they were going to give me for lunch, that I had to remember that it was about one step, one meal, one new perspective. Or after I blew my knee out on the second AIDS ride that I did, and my same buddy David, convinced me to do the Marine Corps Marathon in Washington, D.C. in 37 degrees. And then I got there and the people I were running with decided to run on their own and left me alone and 3,000 people to do this marathon. That what was important for me was to run one stride at a time. What's common in each of these experiences, not only was it about one step at a time, but about living in the moment. I created a mantra at that time in my life that served me so well as it's serving me during this time. And it's, I am perfect spirit, perfect light, perfect love, expressing myself as peace, life, light, love. I'm perfect spirit, perfect light, perfect love, expressing myself as peace, light, life, 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 love. And what that means to me is that I can move through any experience in life that seems to be out of my control by choosing to not only reframe my thinking, but to reframe the step by step by step that is required of me and required of each of us to not only develop a more evolved consciousness, but to lean in the one that already exists for us so that we get to that end result that we're defining as one day, when the glory comes. By choosing, we each get to choose that the glory is not to come, but that the glory already is. It's already here for you and I. And as we've talked about many times, it's important for us to remember, because we are at choice to choose to not live in tomorrow, to not dwell on the yesterday, but to live in the now. No matter what has transpired prior to this very moment, and no matter what is to come, the only way that we can impact that which is to come is by consciously choosing to know our mind, to know who we are as a divine being, and to act accordingly. And when we forget to do that, to stop, forgive ourselves, and to remember, I am perfect spirit. I am perfect light. I am perfect love, expressing myself as peace, light, life, love, right now, no matter what's going on. No matter what's going on. The song that James just sang for us comes from the movie Selma. The tagline of "One dream can change the world." That's what I'm calling on for us today, is to be that very dream that can change the world. To create in our mind right now a dream of what is to come, and then to engage in thinking and ideology and beliefs and actions and visioning that reflect that. The lyrics of this song, and I've got to get back to this particular screen, is one day when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Sorry. I've got my screen messed up here. There we go. I'll be right there. So one day, when the glory comes, I'm going to do it from here. So just 1 second, excuse me. Technological challenges, right? They go on to say, one day we will be sure. Oh glory, hands to the heavens, and hands to the heavens. No man, no weapon formed against. Yes, glory is destined. Every woman and man become legends. Sins that go against our skins become blessings. Just 1 second. I need to get this fixed. I'm going to stop this, and I'm going to come back. Thank you for your patience. There we go. Hands to the heavens, no man, no weapon formed against. Yes, glory is destined. Every day, women and men become legends. Sins that go against our skin become blessings. The movement is a rhythm to us. Freedom is like religion to us. Justice is juxtapositioning us. Justice for all just ain't specific enough. For one son died, his spirit is revisiting us. Truant living in us. Resistance is us. That's why Rosa sat on the bus. That's why we walk through Ferguson with our hands up. When it go down, we women and man up. They say stay down, we stand up. Shots, we on the ground. The camera panned up. King pointed to the mountaintop and we ran up. For one day, when the glory comes, it will be ours. For one day, when the war is won, we will be sure. For we will be sure, oh glory, glory. Yes, we're not in the middle of the civil rights movement, but we are in a war, as we've been told before. I think it's important for us to not look at this war as one where we're necessarily going to battle out on the field with weaponry. But the war that we are fighting right now is within humanity, within choosing to be the very glory that we desire to express and experience. To be the change, as Gandhi tells us, that we desire to see. To listen to what the scientists are telling us, to stay home, to stay in, and to flatten this curve so that the ones that are taking care of us can stay online and healthy. So how can we find glory? Glory in the most traditional sense is typically in a religious context, as in redemption. But I want you and I to take a different perspective today in regards to glory. Glory is defined in this new way as magnificence or great beauty, the splendor and bliss of heaven. And so I want us to begin to think anew as we have felt a bit either imprisoned or quarantined as to how can we see and experience and express magnificence or great beauty in the world. How can we live in the splendor and the bliss of heaven? Well, one way is by looking at flowers in nature. A morning glory, of course, shows us that indeed it represents the essence of the divine that exists within you and within me. And if you're not in a position where you can step out physically and see one, use this very technology that we have before us and pull it up on a computer screen or send a text or an email to me and I will send you this very picture. But even more so, you and I have the capacity to use the imagination that we have to see and smell and taste a morning glory or anything of that nature that brings pleasure to us through the eye, through the visual abilities that we have. Another is through taste. I put this here for my buddy Travis, who is our audio guy. The glory foods of the Southern style collard greens. Now, the can alone brings me glory. It brings me pleasure and beauty and certainly the blissful nature of heaven. But it reminds us at this time we have the opportunity to be very cognizant of what it is that we ingest, not only just into our stomachs and into our bodies, but into our minds and our hearts and our souls. And to take a moment and remember the glory of the splendor that we've had in experiences in life. I share this particular photo with you because it reminds me of that time when I was at the Marine Corps Marathon, been left by my group to run, and I was running in the 37-degree weather and asking myself, how am I going to get from mile 1 and mile 2 to mile 26.2? And I turned and looked to my left, and what I saw were a line of Marines. And in that moment, I felt like that there had been a hand from heaven reaching down and saying to me, Keith, something that can keep you going are these Marines. And so I ran up to the Marines and I said, sir, and they looked at me like, what? And I said, tell me to run, sir. And they were like, what? And I said, scream at me and tell me to run. And they said, you run. And with that, I took off for another mile. And that went on and on and on. And I share that story with you this morning just to remind you that we always are at choice to find the glory, to find the splendor, to find heaven, to find magnificence and beauty before us at all times. We're now in the month of April in the year 2020. And the theme that I have for us during this month is to seed, plant, flower. It's the process of the transformation of the seed into the dark soil of creativity, which emerges as a plant and over time, the blossom of the flower. And so I ask you today to ask yourself, what seed are you planting in this dark, fertile soil of creation during this time? This time that, of course, none of us have experienced or seen before. But we have some reference points of how we've made it through darkness and light in life and come out illuminated, smelling like a rose, if you will. What plant do you desire to have emerge from this time in life that seems to be so contrary and dark? And what flower would you like to have emerge in your life as a result of this? In your family's life, whether it's chosen or biological, in your spiritual community, your city, your state, your country, or in the life of humanity. My dear friend K. Floyd Citron sent this to me. And it's from the Paramahansa Yogananda. And it is from a flower that was in her backyard. Spring is emerging in the South, as it is everywhere, but she lives in Georgia, and I know her from our childhood out in the country in the South. And she found this quote to be most appropriate, as I do today for all of us. And it reads, I looked at a flower and prayed. Suddenly, O Spirit, I beheld thee hiding there. It exhaled the perfume of thy presence. The blush of thine innocence colored its petals. The gold of thy wisdom shines in its heart. The mystery of life and immortality play in the pollen. Your infinite touch transfigured the breast of the bee, tasting thy sweetness. You and I get to be the bee, if we so choose today, to awaken ourselves to the mystery of life and the mortality that is in play right now. We get to experience glory if we so choose. Glory in metaphysical terms equals heaven, and heaven in metaphysical terms equals a state of mind. And a state of mind, ladies and gentlemen, is a result of our personal choices. Are you willing to look at the flower and pray today? Are you willing and ready to awaken to the Spirit and to not only behold it, but let it behold you that seems to be hiding in the darkness of these times? But know that its nature is to exhale the perfume of its presence always. It's there. And the blush of thine innocence colored its petals. For the gold of thy wisdom shines in its heart as it shines in your heart and my heart. We are all at choice today. We're told here that love in your mind produces love in your life. This is the meaning of heaven. Fear in your mind produces fear in your life. This is the meaning of hell. They're not destinations in some far off location post the physical death of our being. They're a result of how we choose to live our life and what choices we make in life. And so the question that I have for you is, are you willing to hold love in your mind, peace in your mind, power in your mind, beauty and joy and light and life and love, and letting the wisdom guide you? Fear and apathy and doubt and disbelief, angst and anger may show up, and let them. But don't let them park in the parking lot of your consciousness. Choose to use the free will that you're imbued with to set a new pathway. And try not to judge the pathway, but to be conscious and cognizant of how you're using your ability to choose to develop and create a state of mind that is reflective of the heavenly nature that exists within you and within me, which brings about much glory in our life, should we desire to experience it. Well, what is free will? The definition is the power of acting without the constraint of necessity or fate, the ability to act at one's own discretion. And that's the part I like for us today, is that you and I get to use our discretion and how we choose to use our free will today. Not making our emotions or our state of mind or our state of being right or wrong, just stopping and acknowledging where we are and then choosing to choose anew. Because I believe you and I both are seeking ultimately to have peace of mind. And it's important for us to remember that it's already there for the thinking, for the taking, for the revelation of. But the key to a peace of mind is how we use our mind. I want to remind us of the acronym that I have for peace. Purposeful energy activates conscious evolution. I know with every fiber of my physical being and every fiber of my metaphysical being and every fiber of the divinity that I am, that evolution is transpiring right now. We've heard over the years that to take one step forward, oftentimes we must take 2 steps back. It seems like we've taken a leap the length of a football field back right now. But let's not forget the universe is always evolving into a greater expression of itself. And it does that through you and through me. And so we can be unconscious during this time, or conscious and awake and alert, and doing our part to create a new framework in life. And what we've learned in this teaching over the years, and it stands true today, is that as we speak our truth out loud, things change. And so today is the time for self-discovery for you and for me and for all of us as humanity is moving through this time of self-discovery, of becoming more and more in tune of who we are as a divine being and where we are at on the journey of our spiritual awakening as we find our personal self-empowerment. Dr. Ernest Holmes tells us in the book, The Science of Mind. Just one moment. He tells us during this time in the book, The Science of Mind, that in studying the order of man's evolution, it seems certain that it was necessary from the time he was brought to a point of self-choice that he be left alone to discover his true nature. If man, meaning male, female, everything in between and beyond, is endowed with the attributes of self-choice and free will, that individual must be allowed to make this great discovery for himself. Now is the time for you and I to become more in tune with our true nature, to become more in tune with this discovery of who we are, of how we're choosing to know thyself, and how we're choosing to use free will. In the lyrics a while ago, we heard his spirit is revisiting us. After the prayer that I did this morning with our musicians and our tech, Travis, we called upon the power of the divine to guide us through this process. And as I walked in to take a shower, and this is a very personal experience and obviously a very personal photo I'm showing with you, there on my towel, laying on my bathtub as I was about to get into the shower, was a prism of a rainbow. As the light was shooting through the window, hitting the mirror, and then reflecting onto my towel, I saw this rainbow and I immediately texted my neighbor and said, "What do you think this is? What does it mean?" And he responded, of course, with a cute joke regarding the rainbow. But I responded to him and told him that I believed that it was his partner who passed away recently, and we were speaking of him coming and guiding us through this process. And I choose to believe that right now it was him, Ken. His spirit was revisiting me, saying to me, "Go do your business today of ministry." He was a man that was highly in tune with his nature as the Christ-like being. And during this time, I've had many experiences that I've shared with my dear friend Kurt of deja vu, or I've had experiences of Dr. Walker coming to visit me. And I share these with you today to remind each of us to raise our vibrational frequency as we go deeper into our soul and be open to this revelation of being in tune with who we are as a spiritual being today and to experience glory in a new way. And so today is the day that you and I can not only have this peace of mind, but experience life anew. And so I ask you today, what is it that you are seeking to be, to know, and to speak out loud what's going on in your life? Why is it important to do that? Because we're audible beings, and what it is that we put into the universe audibly returns to us as form. And what is the objective of speaking out loud what's transpiring in our life, even if our voice shakes? Because just as we learned a couple of weeks ago, the place to start is right now. By starting where we are, the healing begins and the glory begins to reveal itself. And so how do we get to use speaking our truth objectively? And why is it important? What is the objective? And how do we use our free will effectively? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to use your free will today in a way that makes this technology not only work better, but to remember to live for today, I love this quote by Rumi, which tells us that yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I'm wise, so I'm changing myself. The affirmation that I have for us today as I close my message is this: I feel safe in the rhythm and flow of ever-changing life. And so I invite you to say that out loud with me. I feel safe in the rhythm and flow of life. Today is the day that you and I get to experience the glory of the divine. One day, yes, that day is today. And so let's all take a deep breath together. And exhale. And just let's let this time that we've had together so far and this message and the music sink in. As we say together, amen, and so it is. And so it's now time for James to bring us another song. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, with Mr. James Harper.
What's up? Let's have some fun. Seems I got to have a change of scene, 'cause every night I have strangest dreams, imprisoned by the way it could have been, left here on my own, Lord, so it seems. I got to leave before I start to scream. Someone's locked the door and took the key. You feeling alright there? Hey, hey. Not feeling too good myself. Oh. Feeling alright. Not feeling too good myself. No. Boy, you sure took me for one big ride. Even now I sit and wonder why. And when I think of you, I start to cry out. Just can't waste my time, I must keep trying. Gotta stop believing in all your lies, 'cause there's too much to do before I die. Oh, feeling alright. Not feeling too good myself. No. Feeling alright. I'm not feeling so good myself. No. Hey. One more time, here we go. I'm feeling alright. I'm not feeling too good myself. No. I'm feeling alright. Yeah. Not feeling too too good myself. I'm feeling alright, feeling alright, I'm feeling alright. Oh, 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 yeah, I'm feeling alright.
Yes! Thank you, James.
Thank you so much.
Woo! Hi, Lenore.
Hello, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning.
Wonderful.
And so thank you, James. And so now, everyone, it's time to participate in the conscious giving for our community. We are a community that both thrives and survives on the contributions from our community and those of you that support this ministry. It's certainly been a challenging time for us at this time, as I'm sure it has been for many of you. But I also want you to know how deeply we appreciate all of you continuing to give to keep this ministry running in a most effective way and to give us the opportunity to create a new way of doing ministry, doing community, doing service work here for you and providing the services that we're doing and also making a difference out into the world. And so I know we have people joining us from around the globe today. And so thank you for being here. And so your methods of giving today are you can go to our website, which is csl-la.org, and click on donate. Go to the app in the App Store, Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, and click on the upper left bars, and the screen will come up and you can see the Donate tab. Or you can mail in a check, where I'm having the opportunity to pick up the mail once a week there. There's our address at CSL LA, 1200 North La Brea Avenue, West Hollywood, California, 90038. Or if you'd feel more comfortable, you can call me directly, and there's my number on the screen, 310-963-1653, and I can handle it for you privately. All these options are also on our website and our weekly e-newsletter. And also that I'm working on a one text click that you can make a donation that way as well. So let's take a moment and just close our eyes and feel conscious of the good that is being made manifest in the world as we consciously choose to give, to step into the law of abundance and the law of circulation, knowing that now is not the time to live in a state of scarcity, but to live in a state of abundance. That whatever we have in life to give shows the principle of life, that we are here to stay in that flow, that we live in faith, not fear, that we use our minds in a new way, not hanging on to old patterns, not because I'm telling us to do this or asking us or instructing, just simply because we're awakening to a new way of using the power that we have, a new way of using our free will to be in the flow of good of life. As my dear friend Joe says, money is circular. And so we give today, knowing that, accepting that it returns to us multiplied abundantly, as Yaron leads us in song.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, Source will show me how. Love is my decision right here, right now.
Thank you, Yaron. And so I'd like to just give you an update of some things that are going on here at the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. We are a community that's doing our best right now to navigate these times with creativity and innovation. And so things that are happening are our Wednesday midday coffee clutch will take place again this Wednesday through our Zoom, my personal meeting room on Zoom. We're retooling that a little bit this week, so there'll be a greater opportunity for people to interact more. Just want to be really clear, it's just going to be a safe space. We're not providing therapy. It's also not a bitch session. It's just a space that we can all share together and get to know each other and just share what's going on and connect that way to the best of our ability. So know that that is happening. There's also we're looking to do a new program that's called Snappy Hour, which will be a time that we can come together in our own little happy hour way to share poetry and readings and snaps that are typically shared at a poetry reading or a poetry slam is the lean, if you will, the slant on this. So watch for that. I'd love to get feedback from some of you as to what times would be best for that. Obviously, we want to do it during those happy hour hours. So whether that's 4 to 6 or, we know it's 5 o'clock somewhere all the time, but let's try to find a block of time, maybe on a Thursday evening. But just send some ideas my way and I'll respond to those as we set that up. Also want to remind you to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. I put a link out yesterday to a New Thought Metaphysical concert. There's a concert series from New Thought Metaphysicians that are taking place on Friday nights, Saturday nights, and Sunday nights that are live streamed. And I'm sending that information out through our website. So pay attention to that as well. It'll probably be on pushes through our app in the App Store. As well as if you need to see or would like to have a session with a practitioner, their information is on our website. Feel free to reach out to them or to me and we can set that up for you if you find yourself in need of guidance and or healing at any time. We're all here to be of service to you. As well, we're in discussion with our co-music directors about putting together a concert from our very own musicians. So know that that is underway as well. And so I look forward to sharing that with you when that information is happening. And so we now move into a moment of meditation. Before we do, I'd like to remind you that our weekly e-newsletter goes out. It had been going out on Tuesday. It'll probably go out on Wednesday now, so just watch for that. If you haven't received that and you would like to receive it, you can go on our website and sign up for that, as well as my goal is 3 to 4 times a week sending the Call 'em All voice messages out to you and text. So just know that we greatly appreciate you giving us the opportunity to stay in contact with you as much as we can. If you'd like to turn your cameras on now, feel free to do so as we move into a meditation and close out this service. And so I'm going to ask you to keep your microphones off, but just turn your cameras on if you'd like to see each other. And I'm going to have Yaron begin to play some music underneath as I guide us in meditation. And so not only are we focusing on the flame of the candle, but the backdrop that is over me right now has the Om symbol. Om is considered the purest vibrational frequency that exists. So I invite us to Om 3 times together. I'll guide us through this. Inhale. As we exhale, Om. Inhaling again. Exhaling. And Om. Om. And a 3rd time. Inhale. And exhale. Om. And so I affirm for each of us and us collectively that today is the day that we each know who we are in a new way. that we align ourselves with this perfect, purest vibrational energy of Om. And as we step into the glory of the divine that exists within us and express that in a new way today, I affirm for each of us, we feel safe in the rhythm and the flow of the ever-changing nature of life. And we bring to our mind's eye the seed that we've planted of the plant and flower that is to emerge. Through this cycle of creation. During this time that we engage in conscious evolution. And we settle in and allow ourselves to live in the splendor of the divine. To express the magnificence of the glory of the only thing there is. And revel in the beauty of life itself. Om, yes. Om, yes. Om, yes. Here we grow again and again. And again. As we affirm together. And so it is. And so for those of you who'd like to see each other, if you take your arrow up to the right-hand part of your screen, you can click on the different views and see everyone up there. So click on the views. So there's a speaker view and a gallery view. And you can wave to everyone. And say hello if you like as I unmute you.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Julie. Hi, Nancy. Hi,